Now, your first question, that nothing moves unless the space is created. That was your question. Finger will not move. Yes, it will not move. No matter how much you want. So why does that happens? I have explained it many times. We have 3 bodies. Listen to it all again. It may take about two satsangs to explain you whole thing altogether, but let me do it. Because I have to clear this confusion. 3 bodies we all have. I have always said it. And the soul, the individual, the self has these 3 tools to live out whatever in the objective world. It is a combination of objective world and the subjective world. Without the subject, this object is not possible. There has to be the subject, then only the object is there. There has to be the energy, and that energy has to materialize into the object. We have to go to a little bit of tantra here. The vibrations, whenever mind thinks, the vibrations come. And those vibrations solidify. And those solidified vibrations make an object. And that object is recognized by the subject. The energy which makes the solid object, that comes from the subject. Like if you do not think, if you do not perceive, what is the use of anything? An unconscious person is lying there. For him, how does it matter what happens outside? So that unconscious person or unaware person who doesn't know, lack of knowledge is actually the same unconsciousness which you do not know. Anything you do not know is lack of knowledge. So 3 bodies we have. One is this physical body, which is made up of 5 elements. Yeah? 5 elements make this body. Ether, air, fire, water, earth. Or these are the same thing which are the 5 states of the matter. Physical body is made up of matter, and matter is these 5 states. Fire is not a state. Fire is the energy which brings about all the other 4 states. Water is vaporized because of the heat, and then that vapor goes in the sky, and then because of the heat it becomes less and less and less, it solidifies. If it is more and more and more, it becomes totally invisible, and then when the heat goes out, it becomes visible again and comes on the earth back again in the form of water. So heat is doing all the transformation in the matter. So physical body is made up of these 5. elements. But this is only a tool. Through this medium, through this tool, the mind feels. What happens? How do the mind feels? It has, or perception, 5 senses, that is eyes to see, nose to smell, mouth to taste, ear to hear, skin to touch, and tongue to taste. So these 5 senses and 5 action, the organs of action, hands, legs, and they take it in that hands, legs, genitals, and the anus and the speech. These 5 are the other functions which are happening. And 5 are the prana, means 5 states of the prana or perception, which is related with the breath. In 5 different perceptions, plus, so 5 senses, 5 working organs, 5 pranas, they are 15, and then there is intellect and there is mind. Or, so these 17, they are subtle body. Through this tool, we perceive what the organ is. But there we all call it body. Why do we call it body? That we will come. And then the third is the causal body. Causal body means which you call as your nature, as your temperament, or the reason to feel anything or to take birth. Now, what happens? That these 3 are the bodies. We still call them bodies. Why? Because they are perishable. They are not the self. They are the tools of the self. That's where you have to understand very clearly about this body. They are the tools of the self. Through that, self feels. So one causal body, one subtle body, one physical body, through which we live. The self, what we call it, the self or the soul, that lives. Now, what happens? Till mind, till the subtle body, it can know the object. Physical body can feel it is being used. Then the mind and the intellect, all those things, they can know only this object. Physical body lives on the food. So this is depending on the food. In this body, whatever food, any animal, any plant, anything, whosoever is there in this, whatever is living, whether on this earth or wheresoever, Their food might be different, but without food, physical body does not survive. So it lives on the food. And the subtle body, that perceives everything. So all about survival, these two bodies are functioning. And whatever pleasure, displeasure, that all is happening in the mind, that all is the game of the subtle body. So all that thing is only confined, even the perception, even the intellect, everything is only joining for the object. They are dependent onto each other. Eyes or the senses dependent onto the mind, mind is dependent onto intellect, intellect is dependent onto ego, whatever we call it, that is something else. So they are all dependent over each other. But beyond intellect, they do not perceive anything. Means that goes to not knowing. So the causal body is about not knowing. Not knowing the truth, this is why the confusion happens. So these three bodies, they are perishable. The self behind, which gives energy to all the three bodies, whose energy all this thing is surviving, that is independent. But all the three bodies are dependent over each other to get the message and analyze and do and this and that and that. This is how it is all going. Therefore, the causal body, we call it ignorance, and that's where is also the, in other word, we call it as Anand. Because once you do not know anything, you are in the bliss. The moment you know, you become agitation. But once you do not know, you are happy. Whatever way we call them the name. So till the level of object, these things are functioning to perceive what the object is. But beyond this, these things don't have. Our intellect, mind, analysis doesn't have the capability to know the subject. This is why subject is not science. Science is analyzed, to analyze. So other two bodies are analysis. Beyond analysis is the self, source. So the physical body does not move here and there. That is the action of the physical body, that if you are having something to live out at a particular time, then you at that particular time, your body has to be still at that moment to feel it. So for that, the universal vibration which is not seen, that holds it for you to experience that moment. It doesn't mean that you are not doing it. You are doing it, but it allows it at that time. You are saying that the other thing, that with the effort things can happen, and the outer vibrations, they do not make the things happen. Effort is the space mind, not the physical. Effort is done by the mind. Behavior is done by the mind, not by the physical body. Whatever mind decides, accordingly physical body moves or does not move. Many times your mind wants something, but physical body doesn't have the capability to move. Somebody who is paralyzed, no matter what you want, body will not move. So that is the condition. But overall what happens that in your activity, when everything is active, you have your individuality also, and your individuality is the part of universality also. Your individual self is the self in every being. Therefore, outer situations are created by that which is in every being. That vibrations act over there, which is called as God or the self or whatever name you call it. It doesn't matter. So whatever is the situation and the position of every object has to be at a particular way, in a particular spot, so that there is no confusion, and that control is done by those vibrations. So what I was talking is your mental effort for the object, to act on the object and object. So object to object, many times situations are not to your liking, but if you are doing the effort over there, the object can change the scenario. In the object, scenario can change, but the subject inside, which cannot be analyzed by the mind, that subject inside, that cannot be changed. So this feeling and everything what you are talking about, the feeling and this and that, all those things, they come from inside as the result of whatever you have wanted in the past life, because that is also coming over there. That is the character. The self is recognizing it. Those vibrations have to be expedited in these bodies, therefore these bodies can work out that. For the self to live out, this is why you have come to live out in this world, whatever way in this body you have come to live out. That self has created this body only as a tool, but we are using this body as me. That's where is the confusion. It is only a tool. If you take it only as a tool, which tool can work at what point? Which tool cannot work at what point? If you have to use a screwdriver for a small screw of the computer, you cannot use the screwdriver which fixes the wheel of the car to fix the computer. You have to have the proper tool for proper function. Similarly, proper thought, proper action is needed to live out what feeling you have brought. Everything has to be set in a particular way. So, from the temperament gets impacted by the self, energy of the self, or the consciousness, as a result of the karma of the past life, whatever you want to feel. Therefore, it comes inside, from inside. And even if object outside is not there, you will live it out no matter what. All the time it happens that the scenario comes, or you are thinking, or it may not happen, that may not happen, this is my fear and that is my fear, and this could be like that and that could be like that. Or some past experience and you are living it out unnecessarily. Things might have gone finished, but you are living it out, and you are, how you used to respond in the past, you respond the same way in today also, while the situation is gone. Things are changing very fast. Change is the fixed nature of the world. Everything is fixed. World is also fixed. because that is a change. Its character is change. Change always happens. It is never that there is no change in the world. Similarly, your body, it is a part of the world. It lives on the food from the world. You look at a body and then you look second time on it and the body has changed. That's how it works. Our emotions, our attachments, our greed, our fears, our this and our that doesn't let us recognize this truth. Because we have a fear of losing something or gaining something. That's where we have to understand in universality, in spirituality, neither you gain anything nor you lose anything. You are just the soul and that's it. That's what once you recognize, all your questions are there, finished. You are not the body. This body is only a tool. Your senses are only a tool. So the feeling comes from inside because beyond the subtle body you cannot experience because the causal body is unawareness. You cannot analyze the self. This is why subject is only to be realized. Why? Because the self is independent. So the independent, it can act independent. Therefore, spiritual realization, the self realizes the self. While in objective world, we have all these tools who with the help of each other decide what is the object. But beyond that, beyond the three bodies, the self realizes the self. That is the capability of the self. That wakes up to its true nature. So now I have answered all three of your questions, but I'm sure that you have not understood it. It's too complicated. Because the mind is making it. It's not seeing simply what it is. I gave all these things to you to make you understand again how it all works. But that is only, I am using this tool and the speech tool to make your tool understand. But I cannot make you understand the self. Nobody can make you understand the self. Nobody. Only the self knows the self. It is not possible. Because speech is associated with the subtle body. Mind is associated with the subtle body. Intellect is the subtle body. Senses are the subtle body. It will require the support of something. It individually doesn't decide anything. If you want to know, if your mind wants to know a diamond, then it needs to see. And then it needs to make it clear. It needs to make it, say make a diamond. Then only you can decide. So support is needed by each other, those tools. So with that, which needs support, like intellect needs the support of the senses to decide something. It needs the support of the mind to decide something. And then, when it doesn't have the awareness about the subject, how can intellect decide the subject? What support it will get? This is why for the self, effort will not work. Effort has to be dropped because no support is there. You have to come out of all the three bodies. Then you know all this whatever we are talking, that the happiness, unhappiness, or bliss, or this or that, they all have no meaning. And nothing is happening. Nothing is happening. It's only you have forgotten, the self has forgotten its true nature, and that's why this whole confusion is there. The moment it will realize its own true nature, self will realize the self through the self. It's a medium, is only the self, nobody else. It is independent. Therefore, all these things are not needed to realize anything. Realization happens by itself. Long time back, if you remember in a calendar, that statement, the self realizes the self through the self. This is it. Because it is not dependent onto anything. In the physical action, it is dependent on. So your mind can decide what it wants to. And the situation is not good, you just effort, do the effort, think on that, do the effort, keep on doing. An object you have to achieve an object, you do an effort. So many times if you go wholeheartedly, complete concentration, then you get the right answer and right action, and the things happen. But whatever will happen only when it is allowed by the outside vibrations. To make it happen, the tool will be used and it will go at the right spot only when the outside vibrations will allow it. Otherwise, you are thinking everything, but your tool is not working. That's how it works. So, it is true that the outer space, which is empty, whole of the planets are just hanging around in the space. What is their base? How they are hanging there? Energy? Whose energy? Where does it come from? Just day before yesterday, they landed in Mars. That whatever American thing, Science did it. But Mars planet, it is hanging over there. Where? What is the base of it? How much we thought the earth, as earth and above world are different world and lower world are different world, that was the not knowing of the human mind. Now you see that you are also hanging up over there. Where? How? Which is bringing about the rotation of the earth? Who is bringing the rotation of the earth? How it is rotating on its axis? How these planets are not colliding with each other? Whose energy is that? So in object you can see, so that energy which is holding everything, that is also holding everybody. Every movement. Your mind may think whatever it may want, but they are all about object. This is all science. So to keep the mind quiet, all what I was saying, that was to give you explanation of confusion which we have created. Oh, this is karma and this is that and that is happening. Because we either find ourselves responsible for whatever is happening, or the moment we attach, as per our feeling, we attach to a scenario outside, result, we immediately think it is not me, something bad is I am having a feeling. So it is coming because of some scenario, some situation, some person, some individual. We start blaming. Blame comes from there. While if you see that, it is inside. Whatever is happening, if you are controlling your feeling inside, you will not blame anybody. You control your feeling. It's very interesting, I tell you. Yesterday, last night, I was just sitting and then I suddenly started remembering my spiritual days somehow there when I was young, and something came, some situation came up, and my mind started going into why did it happen and that and this and all those things, what you guys say all the time. And I thought, what is happening? Why I am feeling it? Where I am attached? And I found out the mistake what I was doing inside. Yesterday only I am telling you. Where was I seeing it, what wrong? And tuck, next minute everything was gone, clear, finished. We have to find that feeling. I knew that I could immediately get it finished. If not, those who do not know, they carry those feelings for years. Wound has gone, but you are carrying that feeling. I knew that it is the result of the realization that I realize this is my tool. What is happening in this tool? I act as an expert mechanic. These are the 3 tools I have. What is happening over there? Clear it up. If not, run a defective car. So that was your first question, that yes, vibrations, if they don't allow, otherwise it will be a big chaos. Everything will collide with each other, which ultimately happens. Ultimately that happens, which is what they call as the final destruction. All the planets, everything, whole of the universe, this universe. There are many universes. God knows it is unlimited. Everything collides with each other, finished. And matter gets evaporated into vibrations. And then with the thousands of the years, that time, whatever time is unlimited, it will again become solidified and again come into existence. So existence, whatever is visible, it will anyhow finish one day. So no individual person is making that collision, nor any individual person is making all that matter to happen. That is the universal. That is the work of the self, the God, the emptiness where the mind doesn't work, or the source and its energy. Energy works and become one. Again works, again become one. Again works, again become one. This is how it's all going on. This is what is called as Shiva and Shakti. So all that thing we have to be very clear. Take yourself, the self separate with 3 tools: causal body, physical body, subtle body. They are this body, they are not my body or me or anything. I am separate from it. This is why body finishes, the self continues. So what you are confusing, karma and physical action, karma is also the physical action. Nothing else. It has no meaning to me now. Me, who lived on astrology for such a long time. Papaji was sending people to me that, okay, go to Rajiv and get your chart made. When Papaji was used to become fed up by answering say same questions, they will, Papaji, this is happening, what will happen? He will say, okay, go to Rajiv, get your chart made, and he will tell you what to do. And the same I was at that time, working on that, all the planets and everything. That's what was my knowledge and how the body works and everything. Now, as my awareness goes to a different level, I come out of the mind, then this body, this thought, this everything, all these tools are all perishable. Perishable will finish with perishable. That's it. Realization has nothing to do with this. And that's where we make a mistake. To do the realization with physical tool. Have the self-realization with physical tool. Let me do this and let me do that. Oh, let me concentrate my mind. Mind is also a tool. What you are concentrating upon? You have to come out of all that. Karma and this and that and whatever is happening. Know that one day it will all finish. Physical tool is needed. It doesn't mean that all those things are useless. Physical body is useless. That is useless. That is no. It is everything has a purpose in existence. Nothing happens without a purpose. But everything has its own utility at its own place. The existence, the self decides what is to be used at what time. Not our mind, which is dependent onto the senses and everything. Physical senses and the working organs. Anything we live out is only these sense organs and the physical organs. These two things are required, and the mind's drama required inside to make the things happen or not to happen. That's what it is. And we are only caught up in that all the time. My situation, my place, my this and my that and my meditation and my mind and this and that and all that thing. And in that we are trying to control that. We are only revolving in the objective reality, which is objective illusion. We don't go to the subjective reality, which is the truth. That's what is needed. This is why I say, when I say that ask anybody has a question, why? You ask a question, then when I answer, then you take it that was the answer to your question. So you pick up your thing from there. You don't ask. Then whatever I am saying, I know that who needs what and I am talking about it. But because you think that it is somebody else's question, you just don't notice it. Result, this confusion comes. This is called as knowledge. To know. Till you do not know, you will not. And for knowing, one has to be persistent. Knowledge in one direction. Whosoever is the Guru, whomsoever you have the faith, whomsoever you want to have perfect total dedication there, because there you get the answers. That's what I am saying. Ask clearly. This is it. Otherwise, your mind thinks this, and that thinks that, and senses say something else, and I said something else. Confusion comes there. So if you are talking of the karma, then talk of karma only. And know utility of that tool. You are talking of the physical action here and there, know the utility of that tool, physical body. You want to talk of the bliss and the happiness, know the tool of that. So all these things, know the proper use of all these tools which you are having. Then everything will be used in a proper way. The self in you will be using it the proper way. That's how it will help mind, intellect, perception, action, everything to come to the same level. No confusion. Long time back in Satsang, once I said it. There are three things we have. I'm repeating it again. Physical action, mental thought, and the speech. These are the difference between the living body and the dead body. Living body has speech, mental thought, and the physical action. What usually we do? Think something else, say something else, and act something else. Because of our fears or our apprehensions or our expectations or whatever it is, mind is thinking something else, we are saying something else and speaking something else. All confusion comes. Know the truth, then what you think, you speak the same and you act the same. Then they are all synchronized and you are out of fear. You are free, you are independent. That is the result of realization. Physically, you act like that. Mind is stable. So all that thing, whatever you asked, is you have to know the proper use of every tool, what you have. And things will be clear. You asked me 3 questions. What was the first? Nothing will move if the external doesn't allow you, vibrations don't allow you. They will allow you whatever is meant to happen, whatever you think you are doing it, but it will be permitted only when the space is available. That is done by the time. Physical thing will move only when it is allowed, means that is governed by the time. You want a particular action, but that action will happen at its time. That is dependent on to time. Okay? So, karma, you have a feeling inside. That feeling you have inside, that comes from the self, which is coming because of the past life, whatever needed to, and from not knowing to knowing. So your mind starts feeling. Feeling comes there. Whatever you wanted to live out in the past life, at a particular time, that thing will make you feel like that. And at that time, whatever situation is going in your life, you attribute the cause to the outer situation. That because of that this is happening. It is wrong. That is happening by itself because of the time is allowing that to happen. It is not happening by itself, the scenario. Time is asking it to happen. And your feeling is there at that time and it attaches it at that time. That's what, like I gave you the example of myself yesterday, that why suddenly in the past, why does it come here? And I admit it, it happened. But I was alert. I immediately pointed out, oh, what is this? And clear. This thing, minute it comes and minute it goes. Nothing, not to stick to any drama. So that is karma, and that is once you realize you come out of the grip of karma. That is what is they say that the realized one are out of the karma, grip of the karma. Because that eternal feeling, they know where it is coming from, finished. You are not disturbed inside. Never. Nothing disturbs you. And what was your third question?
Well, before the third question, actually, I'm not. The third question was about the story with the tree. And, and you got to cut off.
So that was
source, your support.
Correct. So support what? What does it mean? You get a wrong concept in life, and you think that that concept is right, and you stick to it. With the result, you don't look at anywhere else. Spiritually, your concept is something which you support yourself with. And those concepts are developed by listening and seeing and this and that, different ideas. That's where it is dangerous. It gives you a support of another concept, and you think that, okay, I'm right, I now know it. But that is not knowing. It is listening to somebody else's idea is not knowing. Knowing is what you experience. This knowledge, these guidelines which I am saying, it only helps you to clarify the confusions so that you can experience what it is about. Like you have a question, you are bothered by a situation, and you ask me, and I say that, hey, this is how I am seeing this. If you start seeing it from the same way, then you know you are feeling good or bad inside. I don't know. That is your experience. That what I am saying, that makes you feel good, peaceful, relaxed, strong, enthusiastic. That is your experience, not my experience. But to give you the clear vision, that is what I do. So what I do, I also cut your trees all the time. Your legume trees every day I cut. What else I am doing? Cutting the confusion in every satsang. Like your two legume trees I cut today or not. Otherwise you would cut off into that, okay, now this is sellable, that is sellable, this is better and that is better. And you get caught up there. So those are the stories. They just give you what I told you, they are the stories. They motivate you. They give you a mind likes stories. Why? Because sometimes stories becomes a point of motivation to pursue your way. And it is easy. So that way, it's a beautiful story. Very beautiful story. I am very happy that Now I know that how powerful that story is because you thought about it. You did not let it go. Means it's a powerful story that to cut out the support system. Not knowing becomes our support system. Our ego becomes our support system. Our misunderstanding becomes our support system. Our confusions become our support. If you are confused, to suffer because of the confusion, you don't want to come out of the confusion. Means that becomes a reason for you to suffer because of it. To suffer, your confusion becomes your support. To know the truth, your wisdom becomes your support. So one has to know, once you know what is the support, once it goes off, then you look at the different things. Like in the life, as long as you are dependent on I can do this, you're strong doership, I am doing everything. It's only when you try to do something and it doesn't happen. Things happen without your effort, without your thought, anything, and things happen which you don't like. Means your doership is gone. So the bad time cuts off your support of doership. So that you start seeing that mind is having the doership. Ego is having the doership, not the self. Where the joy is, that is not the self. So that doership, tree of legume is the doership. That is cut off. And you are peaceful.
I want to just check that I understand. Fortunately, in the last few days and week, a few things just like that have occurred where I want something to go a certain way, doesn't go that way. And then another thing happens, I think that should go this way, doesn't go that way. In each case, I think 3 things like that happened recently, and I'm like, well, and then that bothers me. So I said, I have to just drop that to feel light and free and happy. Okay, this is not happening, that's not happening, this is not happening, that's not happening. It doesn't matter. I guess that's just a feeling of just so much doership and grasping it, and then suddenly saying, it's not important, it's not happening the way you want.
You separate your feeling from the situation. And you will find the right way. That is what I say, efforts make your world. That is the effort. Separate your feelings from whatever is happening outside. Know it. Then anything in the world will do. But that feelings doesn't mean that you start hurting somebody. Anyway, in any case, if anybody by speech, by physical action, or by thought, if you hurt anybody, you can never be peaceful. That haunting will keep on coming to you. So, except for that, act out. Feeling means sadness is happening and there is some beautiful scenario going on there, and you are not separating your sadness there. So you spoil the beautiful scenario also because of your sadness. And you are not even able to put your finger on why are you sad. It happens or not. I am sad, I am upset, I am upset, I am upset. And you do not know why. And a beautiful thing is happening outside, and you don't enjoy it. That is where separate yourself. Take the sadness out, enjoy that. And the time is the best healer. It will take that sadness away. But this, whatever things you thought was happening, situation or whatever, you see how they cut your tree. Those situations cut your tree of your false belief. They woke you up.
Yeah, I had that thought that the person who is doing the opposite of what I wanted is the one I should be thanking, because she made me alert.
Good. Send a flower to that, whosoever is the she. Yeah? Just like that. Today I gave a new name to Corona. Saint Corona. Why not? Everything is saint. Saint will see only saint. What else can he see? So, anybody who did whatever it is, saint to wake you up, send a flower back. Thank you for waking me up. And if you don't think like that, if not, physically not possible, in your mind send it. If it is not possible, then at least you will be peaceful inside. You will see at least this will be possible for you to feel inside instead of seeing, blaming somebody wrong is happening. Send a flower to the person. So your feeling will change inside. This is what is doing in the world. Makes the world change. That's what I meant. World is nothing outside, it's all God. Outside our, whatever we are seeing, the person's individual, it is all God. I have said it many, many times. Everyone is a living being. Feeling and everything is good and bad is inside us. It's all God. I control my mind. Change that. Efforts are associated there. Affect your world. World is how you react. You use the word action and reaction. How you react to the action of somebody, that's what you need to change. And that is changed with an effort. An effort is what? You are thinking of with anger about somebody. Think with love for somebody. Finished. That's what you can change. That's what is needed to be done. Like Saint Corona comes, you wash your hands. How much hand washing it has taught to people? You see, your approach will change. Enjoy the life. Take the life as it is and laugh at all this stupidity. Laugh in the life. Why to be serious? The concept, that tree was such a good story. We become so rigid. Concept tree is indication of our rigidity. We are so rigid to our ideas that we don't want to cut that tree. We just want, oh no, I want only this thing. Even if I am suffering, I just don't want to change it, I want only to go my way, things to happen my way. Suffering. Cut that tree. At least open your horizon to other capabilities also. Yeah? You got the answers to all the questions or not?
Yes, Guruji, I got the answers.
Yeah. I can, tomorrow also I will talk on it if you want to. No problem. Ask me and I will talk of it. Because it is like this, it becomes difficult to really understand. It becomes more confusion. So I will tell again in a more simple way. Okay? Yeah. And usually I take the base of everything from my own. What I have experienced, I can talk about that. What's the point in talking about something somebody else has experienced or what the world says? No. As I see, I tell you, this is it, do it, see what happens. If not, then I am sitting over there. Ask me, why did it not happen? Okay? Good. Still, I know that many people, everybody might not have understood because it's a complicated thing. I have to go one by one by one by one. You asked me the question of 10 years satsang in one satsang. So I'll explain again and again and again. And this is why I say, ask me. Cut your tree of legume, that now I understood it. Mind can understand the world which you can understand it completely. But with the mind, don't try to understand that which it cannot analyze. That's where surrender works. No analysis, nothing, whatever it is, then it works. Okay? We will talk about it tomorrow also. All right. I think that is enough, huh? That all happens with the love. And love the self. Self you only enjoy when you love the self. You love everything in the world but not the self. Not your own existence. And the love happens. It is not done. The moment confusion goes, it is love. That's what I am trying to do to make your confusion go away. So the love to the self in you, love to the self comes out. It shines. Live in the love to the self. Not myself. Myself will not let you live in the self. That will take to the selfishness. Then it is the joy of the true love. And the true love, once it wakes up, then you say only one thing. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Love wakes up, you get peace. Peace is Shanti. Okay, all right, okay.
Thank you, Guruji.
Okay, bye-bye.
Rishi, bye.
Bye.